Coach, appreciate you making some time for us. It synced up well with this being a fall break for you guys and everything. And I was reading one of Dudley Dawson's stories talking about your connection with KJ, and I was unaware that he gave 25 pounds from his freshman to sophomore year. Is kind of that the early stages of when you knew that this guy that you had at quarterback was going to be playing Division I football?
Yeah, definitely. His freshman year, he took a lot of lumps, and just the way that he worked from that moment, forward, and the maturity that that we saw in him that year. I mean, we knew he was going to be a Power 5 Division I quarterback. We didn't know, how big he was going to get and all that, but we knew at that time that it was going to be something special.
Coach, when you watch KJ Jefferson play, and they had this sequence in the Texas A&M game, they synced up a play that he had and Cam Newton had. That's a lot of the comparisons. They compare Malik Hornsby to Lamar Jackson and KJ to Cam. Of all the quarterbacks that you've watched, maybe even coached over the years, who does KJ remind you of?
I mean, he does. He reminds me of Cam, but he's tried to model his game after Cam from as long as I can remember. He's always talked about Cam Newton, even as a freshman in high school when he couldn't run anybody over, he still wanted to be Cam Newton. Of course, that was at that time Cam was really killing it. As a I guess college senior maybe at the time, or maybe his first year playing with the Panthers.
Yeah, Coach.
He was. It's Cam Newton all the way.
Yeah. Coach Carl Diffee, who coached KJ Jefferson in high school with us here on the Morning Rush. Tell us something about KJ and his leadership qualities, or maybe him as a person. He's been voted captain or one of the captains for this football team, which gives you some insight what his teammates here at Arkansas think about him. Give us some background and what you saw in him as a high school player. Give us something beyond just the pads with him.
Yeah, I was super proud when he told me that, and I saw it. To be redshirt sophomore and be voted a team captain, I thought was a big deal, and I think that's right in line with his character, and he's grown up in a great family, and just has some really really good morals and has a good head on his shoulders, and as a high school junior, he was, for all intents and purposes, a captain on our team, and really even as a sophomore, I mean, he kind of had a different aura about him, and when you're around him, you kind of sense it. He's not an overly serious person. He's actually kind of goofy, and but it's almost like a flip is switched when it comes time to actually do something. He's super competitive. And it doesn't matter if you're playing, Madden on Xbox, or if you're playing pick up basketball, or he was on a state qualifying track team in high school that I coached, and he was the second leg of our 4x2, and he's 6'5", 230 pounds, 6'4", 230 pounds running down the track. He has no business being out there, but he wanted to compete, and he's the type of kid that in that competition, as soon as it's over, he wants to joke and goof off and play. He just has a great personality, and it's a personality that people want to be around and want to gravitate to, and I think that's what you're seeing with him being in the situation that he's in right now at Arkansas.
Is his speed maybe the one thing people don't really recognize right away? They see a guy that's 250 pounds, a big guy, hard to tackle quarterback that's almost like a running back in that spot. Is that the thing that goes unrecognized about him? What's something about his game that doesn't immediately get picked up on to the untrained eye?
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely talk about the speed. People think he's slow until they can't catch him. And, he's never been, he's big boned, as we like to say. He's a kid that naturally is going to put on weight, but he's always for whatever, for as hard as as much weight as he's gained, he's been able to keep his speed, relatively low for somebody his size, and I definitely think that it's deceiving. But I think that where I've seen the biggest improvement in him over the last 3 years of him, being able to be at the college level and work with some different people has been his accuracy on some of his throws. I think he's really improved in that area, and I think that he has some room to improve some more. And I think the Missouri game last year is where I first saw it. Okay, look, he could actually throw the football a little bit better than I thought he could, because we ran him a good bit in high school. I mean, he threw for a lot of yards, but in high school football, you're not seeing the complex defenses that you see in college and all that. So you can be a little bit more freelance with your throws, and so seeing him grow in that area, it's been pretty cool.
We're talking with Coach Carl Diffee. He's the head coach at Milan High School in Tennessee. Coach KJ Jefferson at North Panola, Mississippi in high school. Coach, you brought up basketball. A lot of people don't know that KJ played basketball in high school and was pretty good. Can you kind of share some insight on him on the hardwood as well?
He wasn't very good, but he was a competitor. You let him tell it he was a superstar, but he was on that basketball team his senior year. I think it was his senior year. It might have been his junior. It was his junior year, actually. His junior year, went and played for a state championship. So KJ actually played for a semifinal in football, played for a state championship in basketball, and competed in the track state championships his junior year. And then his senior year kind of focused more on just football. But he was a really, really tough basketball player. I mean, he used his size. He was physical. He wasn't going to be the guy that dribbled around and shot the ball. He got the ball and took it to the hoop. And, really, again, he and another one of our guys who now plays at Memphis, those two guys kind of, that mentality, that football mentality really helps on the basketball court. But he was a talented, I'll give him that. He's a talented basketball player. He wasn't a good basketball player.
Okay.
His scholarship is in football.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in the right sport. I'll say that. He could bully his way around the high school basketball court, but that was about it.
But Fayetteville is the track capital of the world too, so
Hey, get him out there.
Yeah.
Coach, you kind of mentioned his competitive nature. We brought up basketball a little bit. You have the unique perspective of knowing this young man for quite some time. What is something that Arkansas fans would like to know about him that they don't necessarily, that you might have perspective on?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I talked to somebody about this the other day. I said, the thing about KJ is he comes from an environment and a situation where he's had to earn everything that he's ever gotten. It's not like he was, traveling all over the country in airplanes, visiting all these different places and getting all this training. And the way that they'll play all these 7-on-7 tournaments that all these kids play in these days, this was a homegrown kid that, his first love was basketball, and, he enjoyed, playing Little League football growing up. And it's just kind of a small town environment, really blue collar. And going through the recruiting process in high school, about his sophomore year, we realized, okay, you could potentially play. And so we started to go around to different college campuses. And I mean, it was a struggle financially to get the funds to go on these trips and to go to places that we went. And, there was a lot of, hey, we got football practice on Thursday afternoon, because we can't do Thursday mornings because kids can't get there. They got to wait till their mom and dads get off work. So, we're going to go Thursday afternoon, and then we're going to get in the car and drive, 8 hours down to, New Orleans to go to Tulane or wherever we went. And so throughout, to me, when I watch him play, I have a lot of pride and a lot of, it makes me feel good because to know where he came from, to know what he went through, how hard and how much he had to work, how much harder he had to work than everybody else that he competed against, to see him successful, really says a lot about him. And that's the type of kid that I think Arkansas wants to win with. And, I think it's just going to get better. He's one of those players that I don't think he has a ceiling, or I don't think we've even gotten close to where he is in terms of his ceiling. So, it's going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years.
Coach Carl Diffee with us here on the Morning Rush. Coach KJ Jefferson in high school. You brought up the word competitor about 4 or 5 times when describing KJ. What do you think the last couple of years, and particularly last year being behind Felipe Franks and learning from him, competing with him in practice, this year being the starter and having Malik Hornsby pushing you there, what do you think those experiences have done to shape KJ into the starting quarterback he is today?
Well, I think playing behind Felipe last year gave him an opportunity to watch Felipe prepare, and that's an area of KJ's game that I think he needed to improve on, and I think he has. Is you're preparing not only as a quarterback, but you got to prepare as the running back or as the receiver or the O-line. You got to be the coach on the field, and I think that his understanding of football grew a lot this offseason and last year and this offseason, because of Felipe's tutelage. And, every time I've talked to him about it, he said nothing but good things about Felipe and the relationship they had and how much he taught him. And, Felipe having the perspective of playing at Florida, playing at Arkansas, now having an opportunity to go and try and play in the NFL and those type of things, like, that relationship was really good for KJ to sit back and mature and, develop. You can learn a lot from other people's mistakes. And so to be able to develop that kind of a little bit more of a knowledge of the game, I think is going to go a long way for his success this year. And then, of course, having a healthy competition in practice and in games makes you a better player. And you don't want to be the only guy. You want to have that competition, and you want to have somebody pushing you because that's going to make you better.
Yeah, absolutely. As his high school coach, ultimately, why did KJ choose Arkansas? What made Arkansas the best fit for him at that time?
Well, at the time, he had a number of places that he liked. I tell you who did the second best job recruiting him was Memphis, and at the time that was Mike Norvell. And KJ's a relationship-oriented person. If he trusts you, that's kind of how he grew up. That's worth more than anything. And Coach Morris's staff, they did a good job recruiting him. They showed up. They showed up in numbers, and they were there, and they made KJ a priority. Talked to him every single day. And when he went over and visited, he just kind of, I think, really liked Fayetteville, number one. But number two, just kind of fell in love with the idea of building back Arkansas football. And so needless to say, that first year that he was there, it wasn't very fun. But I think he's reaping the rewards right now of his decision.
Coach, got 2 more before we let you go. You've also got someone on your team right now, Anthony Brown, stud safety. He's committed to Arkansas in the class of 22. What can you tell us about Anthony and what he brings to your team and what he could bring to this team this next year?
Well, yeah, Ant, we call him Ant, and Anthony is a great kid, a great football player. He's in the same boat as KJ. He's the same type of kid. He's got the same mentality. He played quarterback for me last year for 7 games. Basically, we didn't have a quarterback. We moved our best athlete back there, and that was him. But he's a great kid. Another one that, what people don't know about him is just the struggle that he's been through in his life. basically lost his mom in 8th grade, and has had to work extremely hard for everything that he's gotten. And he kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to be a good player for Arkansas. He's coming over at Christmas or at this Christmas, so he'll get that spring in the weight room with the Arkansas strength and conditioning coaches, and I think he'll be a contributor on the field next year for the Hogs.
All right, Coach, last question before we let you go. You've got a little bit of a decision to make. You're former quarterback suiting up for the Razorbacks, but you're an Ole Miss alum. How does this play up this weekend? You got some mixed feelings heading into Oxford?
Not at all. I'm gonna wait until probably 30 or 45 minutes before the game, and then I'll dress in I'll put all my Hog attire on and go about my business. But until then, I gotta play it right. I can't make everybody around me mad.
Well, Coach,
tough spot you're in this week.
My loyalty is to KJ though. So I'm excited to see him come back, and it's gonna be which he grew up 30 minutes away from Oxford. I mean, you're gonna drive by his house on the way if you're coming through Memphis. It's right there. So we spent a lot of time over there. It's definitely a homecoming for him for sure.
Coach Carl Diffee, head coach at Milan, Tennessee, former head coach of KJ Jefferson at North Panola High School, as he was just talking about, 30 minutes outside of Oxford. Coach, really appreciate the perspective this morning, and I think you have a lot of confidence, like we all do, that KJ is going to put up a big game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the future's bright for him and for Arkansas football. I like what Coach Pittman's doing.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time this morning. I know you got the bye week this week, but best of luck the rest of the way in your neck of the woods.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Good stuff this morning,
We're
Tom.
back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.